Hey, babes.
Hello, hello.
I am here with Professora.
Ooh, professora.
Yes, got my Portuguese. Professora Almas of
Sagaz Jiu
Jiu
Jitsu.
Jitsu in Pacific Beach in San Diego.
Mhm.
Professora, thank you so much for doing this interview.
You're very welcome. I'm just very honored to be the very first person on your podcast. Excuse me.
Well, as we said before, you're the first female black belt I ever met. So
Which I didn't know until today, and I didn't realize about that. So the first black belt that you met and the first person in interview, I was like, I thought we were honored. To be honest, I don't think I ever happened anything like that before. So great, great times.
yes. So to start off, if you want to just introduce yourself to the listeners, give them a little background.
Be a pleasure. So, my name is Ali. I'm 35 years old, and I started jiu-jitsu when I was 22. And I am the first female black belt under Professor Clark Gracie and Gracie Legends. And I got my black belt in 2018. And since then, it's been a fun ride. In 2022, I got my first degree in black belt. And now I'm being honored to open my own gym here in San Diego, California, which I think is huge. You know, I never thought I will arrive on this scenario. And when I came to the United States, I never thought that would be on my pathway. But I'm very glad I did, and I feel that's very aligned with my soul purpose.
Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing to see a woman-led gym in San Diego. It's such an epicenter for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I hope to inspire more women out there to make jiu-jitsu as a profession. Like for yourself, start your podcast. I couldn't wait to be with you, support and to be part of the community. So we can have not only as competitors, but as coaches, interview and jiu-jitsu practitioners. So I'm very excited for what the future brings to women on the sport.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So to start the questions, you mentioned that you started training jiu-jitsu when you were 22. So what got you started?
Right. So first, it was more the physical side and looking to have a self-defense background. As a child, I did a lot of sports and I had the chance to go a lot in the gym. I was a little bit tired after that culture where people just looking for the flax and looking good. I was looking for a sport or exercise based what I was looking for that would give me some martial arts background. Jiu-Jitsu was funny because I never had heard of, even I'm Brazilian. It wasn't as popular where I came from because it's a smaller town. So it took me to go to north of Brazil in Fortaleza, Ceará, where I was surfing and there was a lot of the black belts were in the water. So we always just had our occasional knot on the water and they ask you questions and they asked me one day if I ever did jiu-jitsu because I look pretty strong. I'm not sure if they're just trying to be nice, but I was like, I take it.
I also feel like surfing and jiu-jitsu, like they just go together.
Let's just go together. And that's how that's all you need. So one of the black belts gave me the address of my professor or the team that back then was called Revolution Jiu Jitsu. Now they're affiliated with Checkmate, or Checkmate. And Fortaleza, Ceará, that's the branch they call. And when I went to the gym, I was actually like sketched out because one, I was like, is this person trying to kidnap me? Like, is for real? So I asked for one of the taxi drivers from my work, because back then I was working as a receptionist in a hotel. I asked one of the taxi drivers if he could drop me off and wait for me. So I could see the location, and I did. I was so fine, it was so true. But just like paranoid Brazilian. You never know. Not by myself. Yeah, I'm myself in that town. So
it's like, hey babe, you want to like go to my jiu-jitsu school? Wink.
Wink, and then there's a van in the parking lot.
Oh, I I know, right?
There's plants and cats in that. I was like, okay, which kid cat can I put?
You like dangled the puppy out of a van.
Yeah, so they just right there. I love it. But thankfully, it was a solid gym, and I really love the environment. And what I mean about the environment is the people. It was a very poor gym, not anything fancy. but the energy that I saw on the mats and how people treat each other. I love the mindset, how the guys have such a brotherhood system. I haven't seen that before besides my cousins. And then number two is just how healthy they were looking and they were acting with each other. So the healthy boundaries, the healthy behavior with each other, the physicality. I saw like two cats fighting, and I was like, I couldn't understand what's going on. I just saw the little ball and limbs everywhere. And I was like, I want to do this. Because I had seen judo before, but judo is such a like instruction on yes. Oh, and I was like, that doesn't feel real. It's not honest and genuine. So when I saw my professor and the students, I really enjoyed that. And that definitely hooked me at first, being able to do a martial art background and something that you could be yourself and that challenge you to be a better person every time you step on the mats. That was like what I felt at first until I stepped on the mats, and then I explored much more in that. But I would say, let's go for the next question so I can move on that.
Yeah. So that was what got you started.
Yeah.
What I guess what got you hooked from there? What made you keep coming back once you started?
So I never did anything in my life that were able to calm and quiet all the thoughts and all the feelings on my heart and in my mind. So growing up, I had a lot of diversity and there's a lot of noise on my head. And I never noticed there was like that.
Yeah.
But the moment that I trained and just got smashed. Yeah. I came in, just tried the class and being in the mats and training for the first time in a row, it was silent. So I just sat down on the side of the mats, and even after when we finished the session, I was just sitting down and was just quiet. And maybe people can get that through meditation, and it's awesome, but I never had experienced that before, being present and silent, just peace. That was literally what hooked me, and I was like, I don't know what just happened, but I want to do this again. Yeah. And I was calm for the first time in my life. And then I realized, oh, it's so quiet. It's like, can I do this again?
Yeah. I feel like, if something's upsetting you when you go to the gym and you train jujitsu, it's like you don't have time to think about whatever's bothering you. And so it just quiets your brain. I'm shifting.
It's really fine. Let's place your space.
Yeah, like I think that quiet in the mind is such a heady feel.
100%. I think there's not many things you do in life that you cannot be on the past or in the future. You got to be in the present. You can't make any decisions you're doing during the sparring time has to be by the feeling, by the connection. And I don't think there's a lot out there that can give this kind of presence.
Yeah.
Or just be.
So you started training in Fortaleza in Brazil. And so now you're here in San Diego. So how did your journey change over time and what brought you over here?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's a good thought. So my story is a little different. I'm from south of Brazil and I'm born and raised there. When I was 18, my parents had the chance to travel on board and for my mom to go to France. She was doing a gastronomy course for college. She did the Patisserie International in Constantin, I believe. And she had the chance to get a full scholarship to go to France. Unfortunately, couldn't afford it to send her. So that kind of sparked on my family the initiation to leave. They were able to find New Zealand where being a high-level chef would be the checklist for potential residency. So that's how we started the migration. So I went there for them for a year with my brother. And then after the year when our travel ticket expired, I decided I want to go back to Brazil. And I had this calling. I don't know why it was really strong on my heart that I want to go up north of Brazil. And I don't have a family there. I don't have anything there. But on that time of our lives, we were for some challenge for the adversity we've been for the family, the changes. And I felt the need of self-discover for my own expanding my hopefully maybe mature, not yet. But I was looking for that back then, and I just wanted to find it. And I had this strong feeling to go up north. And that's where I met the jiu-jitsu team and started. So that was my first contact. I feel that I trained for 2.5 years with them there because it was 2011 I started, 2013, 2014 I went to New Zealand. And that was because my family finally got a residency there. So then again, we had to decide, do I want to stay in Brazil or do I want to live with them? That was like my last chance to get the PNHI residency applied to me when I was 25. So I went there, and until that moment, I thought about coming to the United States for competition, but never thought about living here. So time goes by, I stay in New Zealand to learn first English, then do courses in there. And then I thought, wow, I'm a brown belt now. I've done some MMA fights as well, because jiu-jitsu was a little behind in time there. So I thought, how can I keep developing my skills? So I ended up getting headfirst into wrestling, judo, kung fu, kickboxing, and then put it all together in jiu-jitsu still. And had some 2 MMA fights. It was a lot of fun. But then decided it's not for me. I was really cut very drastic for, I would say, 3 years. It was a lot. I was like, I like have a full-time work, training full-time, and cutting full-time is not fun. So it was like, what is actually connects me with my desire? And it was the community of jiu-jitsu. The MMA community was very separate. It was very petty, and I was like, I just want to train with people. So I went back to my roots, which was competing with jiu-jitsu and just socializing on the mat. That's what I love from day one: the networking, the connections you make, people you meet, the friends you build on the mat, and that got lost through the MMA. So for that, I decided to make the decision I wanted to come and compete. Back then, that's 2016, when I first met Professor Clark. He was coming to New Zealand for seminars and workshops. So we do the 3-day camp when he was doing on the gym where my parents were living back then, which is Napier, with Allegiance. That was their name, and then I would become Grace Allegiance with Professor Clark, which is pretty cool. We're kind of like everything sparkle up where we at right now. And I really enjoy. I always had them like they're my second family in New Zealand. As I kept going back, Professor Clark kept asking, why are you competing? Like, you're a brown belt, and they would see you competing on the high level. And I said to him, I just don't really know how much I want to invest from that, because I put so much money in jiu-jitsu, trying to be a little bit more mature. And I just kind of deviate from my MMA career. So long story short, 2018, I came over for 10 ends and for the Worlds. I had the best time, had the ball, it was so much fun. So I thought, can we do one more time next year? It's just money-wise, it was a lot of work coming from there to here, like $3,000 down just to get here.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, to compete IBJJF.
It's crazy.
It's obviously IBJJF. It's a big deal, but you don't get any money for
No.
it.
Yeah, we're not going to be going there with IBJJF. Because again, IBJJF, is again, I appreciate what they've done for the sport, but at the same time, they got involved. But that's pretty much it. You work for it. But at the end of the day, you got the medal, and then it's okay, see you later, go home. Congratulations.
Yeah.
So it was a fun experience. I really loved, because again, my reason to compete and coming back was I want to always test not only my jiu-jitsu, but every time I set a goal for competition, I felt that I improved as a person, because it allows you to get better time management, or little things on your personality that you gotta sharpen up, just like the knife, so you can do better. So I see that the competition was always a way I could see how to improve on my personal goals. And that's what I enjoy the most. So that's what I did in 2018. Was everybody kept asking why I didn't stay here. I had my life set in there, my family. So I was like, no, I'm just going to come and compete. So I thought, I'm going to do 2019. As I came in 2019, it was very hard to leave. So February 2019, I came in. When I was leaving the airport, I was just crying, because like, I don't know what to do. My heart is like in million pieces. I want to be here because I see this potential of so much opportunities that we have. And then going back to New Zealand, like, how are we going to keep this momentum going? Still had Abu Dhabi in 2019. It was a competition that I always wanted to be part of. I just thought was fantastic how a country had jiu-jitsu as a primary subject school.
Yeah. I mean, that's amazing that they have that.
Yeah, the fact that they have that as is obligatory for even for the girls, you know, so they don't have to keep training, but they have to know basic self-defense. And then for the military, they have all the black belts there to teach the military. For being, I believe, like as you grow on your career, for captain, obviously captain's the top, but as a platoon and so on, you gotta have a blue belt, purple belt. They actually make you rank on the mass shoot, which is pretty cool.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. I knew about the schools, but I didn't know about the military.
Yeah, very strong. They use that, and I like how they actually base on that. You know, you can't be like, again. I'm sorry, I don't know the military terms for that, but you can go up higher for a certain level if you minimum a purple belt.
Oh wow.
I thought it was again. Yeah, I like the discipline. I like the not the thought, but the humbleness and that's bring for people. So I think they will allow them to be. I hope they're mature in that. But Abu Dhabi was then one of my trips I decided to do in 2019. And then that's where it changed everything for me. I decided I will come to the United States. Professor Carpenter had offered to be head instructor for the kids in female program. So I called him from there and said, it's happening. And it's like, let's make it, like, she said, yep, let's come over. And that's how we started the whole process for the work visa. And then later on for the green card. Came for the words as well. Didn't did so well that year, had so much on her head, but had valuable lesson in the competition. And that's how then we're here.
Yeah. And then so this past year, you opened your own gym. So tell us about what your mission is with opening a women and children centered gym here in San Diego.
I never thought about going to be opening a gym before. So my business partner, Jesse, who owns CrossFit gyms, he doubled down on me, started telling me, hey, you gotta give. You're really good with people and you're passionate for jiu-jitsu. So he kept like reminding me how that was important. And I was like, that's right. I do enjoy that. So having kids and women on the mats for me always being a thing that I love running events.
Yes.
And like, I never care about getting paid for that. I just want to have more women and kids in the mats, period. Because I wish I had them for myself. As a kid, if I had jiu-jitsu from early stages, I do believe I would have a better communication skills. I would have them much better in life. And confidence, you know, be able to really establish this for the kids and for women. So open the gym was about that, being able to open a place where we can be less politics, more about the people, more about building the confidence and giving the tools to all women, kids, and then males as well, how to perform that in the mat. So having more women, kids wearing the gi, it's going to be awesome. But also to translate how the belt promotion system goes along. I think there's a lot of uncertainty, very unclear. Everybody says they know how, but at the end of the day, for the person that's day-to-day training jiu-jitsu, I don't think there's a lot of transparency on the system for people. And I hope we can do that for our students so they don't have to go through the struggles that we went through, not only for injuries, but also how to understand with the professors, with expectation, and with the stripe system, the next belt. I think it should be something that you should be looking for, excitement, because when you're having a bad month, a bad year, dude, getting that stripe on your belt, it kind of makes everything worth it. And I don't want you to be tired about it, but having those positive affirmation in your life, it's pretty solid. You know, we're very easy in judging ourselves on how good we're doing or not. So being able to have expectation, here's how we deliver it, how you can improve.
Yeah.
And that transparency, I think, would be really awesome. So having Sagaz is translating that and just having fun in the mat.
Yeah. And, you know, it's what you say about like the belts and the stripes. I mean, I think about I remember when I got the first stripe on my white belt because, you know, I felt like I was always in the background of class. I felt like I didn't really know what I was doing. And when, you know, Professor Carlos called me to the front of class and was like, I was like, who's going out? And like, I actually have a place here.
You belong on the class. Yeah.
And it kept me in, like just getting that positive reinforcement from my professor, like, hey, you know, Obviously, still learning, still a baby, but you're improving.
Absolutely. That's right. You touch on that spot is where what it got me to come back. So I forgot that you mentioned before, but with my professor, I never understood the level of passion he had for us, how he just saw on us things that we couldn't see. So when I first came to maths, I was very condescending to my journey because you just keep thinking, bad Ali, can't do this right, can't do this right. But your professor can see things in you that only your parents never tell you, like, no, you got this. Like, don't worry, keep your head strong and you're moving forward. And that's what professor provided to me. He always believed in me. And that really touched me because besides your family, when you do have the chance to have your family to do that for you, nobody else does it. Now me becoming not as a coach and as a brown belt, but then getting the black belt, I think that was a huge transformation. I was able to see that potential in people, and no matter where they feel where they are on that stage in their lives, I can feel and I can literally sense like you have so much potential and give that to them, let them know that's exactly that. You feel like you belong there, you feel like, all right, I'm not a black belt, but I can do this. There's a place for me here. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so at your gym you have the women's only classes and then you have the co-ed classes. I guess, I see, you were actually the first women's only class I ever went to too, as well, at Professor Clark's school. And
It was different. It was different atmosphere too.
yes,
Who was in the mats for the first time? It just, I don't know what to say. It's just like when that guys all in together, girls all together. There's nothing wrong with mixing it. It's just like, it's like when you walk on the lines, you're like, we walk along each other. You can make jokes and then it's not appropriate, whatever it is. It's just, the vibe is different.
it's different. It's like the girls we giggle together a little, we joke, we have fun. But I think it also it's a great way to remove barriers for some women who are afraid to come into a very testosterone heavy class.
Absolutely. I think just in general, I would say that's what the conversation Justin and I had about CrossFit. I think it's a good example because it doesn't get into the crazy gender arguments out there. It just wasn't common to see women doing weightlifting and then CrossFit. So that's what for him was about. He wanted to see more women training in CrossFit. And then in Jiu Jitsu, his first professor was a female. It was a black belt female, or Heather, I believe, in Colorado, and then and her husband. So that's what he was bringing in, and I love the fact that we were able to take like detachment of that, but also be able to bring a place with welcome because girls are gonna go in the mats like I was very feisty as a tomboy.
Yeah,
but how girls that they were grew up proper on the environment, like you only gotta dress with like accordingly, you gotta act on the way. So how are you gonna make that distinction and that bridge to get them in the mats?
Yeah.
And that's huge. So I would say be able to translate that and make those girls feel comfortable to come in and say, "Yeah, you're strong. Look at your legs. Look at what you can do. You can leg press somebody."
Yeah.
I always do that in the first class. I really want to show the girls how strong they are. I know it sounds silly that it's easy to see that, but a lot of people didn't have that support. They had the confidence, and that's what the mats can bring. Have this welcoming environment. Listen, girls classes.
Yeah.
Most gyms talk about it when they girls classes, but when time comes, girls classes get pushed aside because I understand it's the business. They want to keep running more students from that area and on the prime time. But one of the things we decided to do here, and I said to just appreciate him always backing me up on that. 5:30 is a prime time. That's the time for the girls classes. Kids, prime time. Everybody else, the co-ed classes we can have in the mornings, lunchtime, evenings. It's okay. We just want to make sure that we have the availability. So that's the time the girls can come in. If they're moms, they're gonna have to put the kids to bed. At the end of the day, it's still going to do that because it's connection with the family. So they can finish the class by 6:30 and be at home for bedtime, dinner,
Yeah. Do you view the women's class as a way to bring women in with the goal of eventually training in co-ed classes?
Absolutely. I would never force anybody to only train with, we gotta train with the guys. But I think it's important. It's like we were talking before. How can you be on the mats and not have fun with all the options of body types and game plans? So for me, having the 5:30 is very important to have the girls started. And I tell them, you're welcome to stay for 6:45. You know, because that's what I started in my gym. Like first I would be one class because I couldn't dare think about doing like an hour session. I was like, no, I'm gonna do 45 minutes. And then slowly grow into the 1 hour and then feeling more comfortable. You know what, let me do this the 2 hour sessions. It's like a nice progression for your performance and your growth. So my goal is to women to have the first week to step on the mat to see that we do have a healthy environment where women can train and how to do a nice jiu-jitsu, and I call the competition jiu-jitsu or the you need to survive jiu-jitsu, right? You gotta know the difference. And a lot of women are so afraid to hurt each other. It's so cute when they get on the mat. So like, I'm so sorry, I am hurting you. And it's like, no, we hug each other. You know, so there's a lot of people who never got pressed before, never pushed. Imagine when they do have a situation that is life-threatening, how could they fight for themselves if they never had been pushed before on those units? So I'd say the resilience that we want to build in the mats to allow them to come the co-ed process, and then one day they can protect themselves when when it's necessary.
Yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned nice jiu-jitsu versus competition jiu-jitsu. What would you say is the difference between those, or how would you define those?
Yeah. I believe like it's a layers that we start adding the pressure. When they start with the nice jiu-jitsu is pretty much frames and movement, and then slowly starting adding on. Now we're not doing position sparring only, where we're gonna get the guard pass, get mount position, back take, or we're gonna go for submissions adding there, which I personally think is the nice progression for people to understand and have the grace to learn how to move accordingly before they get hurt. I believe when you start guessing so soon, it's like tossing somebody in the water without having swimming process ever. They're gonna drown. So it's like I understand why we don't have this understanding jiu-jitsu. Like give those people some breakdown and time to process this first foundation movement, and then slowly say, we're gonna today, if you're passing the guard and you're safe from close guard, person in the bottom is looking for kimura attacks non-stop, or umbers or a choke. So you give that person one thing to focus at a time, so slowly we can build to the competition jiu-jitsu. And the nice is because you're just doing, we always say as a white belt to blue belt. On the white belt, you have so much, and you can tell me how you felt when you get a blue belt. What is the difference for you have your white belt pathway, and then you came to the blue belt training session next time? How do you feel pressured? How did it change for you? How do people training with you?
So, oh my God, yes, that was definitely, I really noticed it. When I first got my blue belt, there was a purple belt at my gym he's a great training partner. He definitely I'd roll with him as a white belt, and it would be a productive role for both of us. He would, give me positions and let me work, and then he'd kind of wait, and then like a cat with a mouse, he'd yeah. And then right after I got my blue belt, I rolled with him, and all of a sudden he turned it up a little bit, and he didn't go full. He he did, because he probably could have destroyed me, but I was like, oh, I'm getting the blue belt roll right now. And I was like, I remember people telling me it's going to be discouraging because you're going to feel like you suck all over again. But for me, it was actually oh, sweet. People know I can handle myself.
That's the difference between nice jiu-jitsu than to the competition. You said it out. But literally, that's what it feels like. You're doing so much white belt. I was like, I think it's really cool when people tell me, I'm a very good white belt. I was like, I believe in you. You are. But then wait for when you get a blue belt. Everybody was being nice to you. Now they know that you can handle yourself. You're like, take that extra pressure on top of it. And then everything changed. And that's literally how the belt is with that. But then we can also do that throughout the whole progression. How did everything get started? I love that. And that's exactly what it is. And that's, I think, there's no other sport that allows you to do that, that you can grow into everything. We're all progressing, even myself as a black belt now. I felt that when I got the black belt, I was literally, and everybody say that so cliche, and it does feel like that. It feels like I'm just starting over.
Yeah.
it's just crazy. I really want to make sure I knew everything for real, like what I had learned, because now anytime somebody asks me a question, I will make for sure I need to know it is exactly what I'm
Yeah.
teaching. So that's crazy. And you're gonna get there and you're gonna know exactly how to do it. As you get a purple, you're gonna feel the same things. Like, oh my god, I learned so much, I learned so much better.
How did um how did your mindset shift from being a black belt training and teaching to being a black belt who is now the head instructor of your own gym? What changed for you there?
It was definitely a huge the internal pressure I'll say is the most. Um I would say the shifting started begun when I got my black belt. One of my friends were even having this conversation with me, letting me know, hey, what you say has a huge impact on girls and people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
Just bear in mind about that. And it was very grateful for her comment because you don't see yourself as this role model. You just see your old self as a goofy young child. But then you don't realize that when you get a black belt, people look up to you. Mm-hmm. And there's good things about that and bad things when people like to be like put on a pedestal about it. But for me, I took on that way as like, wow, I really need to think about how I maneuver my actions and communication on the mats and outside even. Mm-hmm. So I was building that through while I was working with Prince Clark, because again, you're representing your team, so you want to make sure you're doing everything well. But starting Sagaz, it was the duty that you have each person that you gotta teach them how to handle their business, especially building a place for women. I'm huge with the girls about self-protection and what sexual whatever it's gonna look like. We're just more prone, and even for the kids, I tell them all the time, don't let people get comfortable with you because you don't know who it's going to be the person. So I don't like to project traumas on there or anything. It's like awareness. So say open my own gym brought that responsibility. And to be honest, I wasn't sleeping very well until recently because thinking how I can make sure that people are safe and what I'm teaching and how that's going to impact their lives. That became very strong to me. So that it is a huge shift. Competition wise, if they're going to compete, how am I going to meet solid athlete or a friend that wants to compete and trust my skills to make sure that they really have a good time, they're not going to get hurt in every way. That really sunk to me heavy. It was full mountain, and I felt like I was rooting for a while. Now being lucky, having other black belts join in, to have the reassurance that we're doing well, and it kind of not that kind of trust and it fell back. It was just like it came together. It was like, okay, we're doing this right. So
yeah,
it was massive.
You've definitely built a team of like really badass women professors.
Not mine. I say I don't take that. I don't think you. I say I don't take any of the credit. I would say each one of them are doing amazing work by themselves. Yeah. I was lucky enough that they believe on our goal because our goal is about community. There's so many things we want to break through of on the mats, which is the politics. I want women from different teams to teach. I want to tell these stories. I want to tell where they came from, who they train with, how they got there. Yeah. Because it's exactly what you're doing now. Talk about it so other women can get inspired by that. And I really want that they are from different teams because I want people to cross train. Cross train is so important. You can learn so much from each other. And that doesn't mean that you are betraying a professor, betraying a team. No, you're adding on more because now we can send people that come to visit us in town or they want to train in different teams. Why not people can pay? I'm sorry, I'm going to say that. And a lot of black belts are going to get upset about it right now. Are you ready? You can pay tuition 2 years. Why you have to control your person so much? Why this person can't excel in their life? Life is so short. If you think about it, that the span of life on this planet tops, I would say 80 years average, give and take. If you make 105, for you, but you're not going to be training jiu-jitsu for that far for this time on your life. So why not enjoy that moment? Make as many friends. Be respectful with professors. I tell people that came over here and they train different teams, just let me know who you want to get a promotion from. I'm totally fine. I'm just supporting your journey, give you everything to you. You get your belts if you're a professor. I will share some thoughts to them, say, hey, especially doing super well. I just want to let you know because I think it's important. So hope you guys didn't choke on there for this comment because I think some people there kind of did not too long ago. But that's what was my thought. I wanted to share that, and having women from different teams allows more people to train for those teams too. And that's what I think is going to be the growth for the sport period, especially for women, having more women in mass everywhere.
Yes, and having women in leadership positions, teaching the classes, leading the classes, whether it's women's classes, whether it's co-ed classes.
100%. I think it's important that women do teach co-ed. My initial dream was to have a women only teaching, not because I'm upset with the boys or anything. I learned jiu-jitsu from the boys, so
yeah,
I could not like be here without the boys.
Yeah,
that's why we were very specific on just having the prime time for the girls. But I think it's important having the boys in the mats. And then it just happened recently that Professor Judy Anderson from Altos also is looking for teach more, and he likes to teach kids classes, and he's just around the corner, and so it actually works with my schedule, just 5 minutes from home. So I said, "She, that would be awesome," and I actually felt really honored that another Professor Blackwell Neal from such a renowned academy wants to spend his time here with us, and obviously works for him.
Yeah.
And he's awesome coming in. So I've been very lucky. We haven't actually shared about him yet. It's gonna come soon. I'm gonna have an interview or introduction for him. But I feel very honored that all those people have a Coach Ashley from day one. Actually, last year we were training at Team Planet because I do my no-gi training with Team Planet San Diego. Love my team there. Love my gi team with Professor Clark. It's just different aspects, and I really enjoy have that. Like building this connection from both. I hope as well in the future we can have gi and no gi more connected, so it doesn't feel like two different sports. I think it's possible, by the way. Obviously, the cultures, everything else is different, but can we improve your gi game with no gi? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I want to connect them both. So that's how, long story short, I met Coach Ashley. We're helping a friend of mine, Kita, to prepare for a comp. And right away she said, I want to be part of your team. I was like, but I don't even know it's going to be the opening day. So moving fast forward to January 2024, sorry. I'm got stuck in time there. 2024, I was about to start and was thinking who was going to be a great fit to begin this journey. Because like, how can I even start? That was like the challenge. Like, I know we know so much about jiu-jitsu, but it's like when you're going to start your own place, it's like, it's so much to do. Where do I begin? Just like as a white belt, where do I begin here?
It's all the details and like the little things.
Do I focus more on getting the gym ready? Do I focus more on promotion? More videos, more connections? Like, what is that going to be like?
Yeah.
So when Coach Ashley texted and mentioned about her coming and have a conversation, it was when we were in early stages of even just building the gym. She was here from the day onwards, cutting the mats, putting everything together. And that was definitely a huge gift with God to give me like the assurance of like, yes, you are on the right path. Then after that, I was looking for other female coaches, and unfortunately stumbled some politics because of that, having them teaching different teams, getting paid for teaching. Like, how dare we do that? Anyways, but it was funny for me because again, we're gonna break this through on the future. And then for a while, I was kind of stuck because people time managing everything that were available to teach, and out of nowhere all these beautiful and amazing instructors, professors or professoras were able to come in. Then Professor Pascal, Professor Heather, then now Professor Julie Anderson, and Coach Ash is helping us all the time, but she's a full-time nurse, so she doesn't choose when she can be here. So I would say I feel very lucky. So let's see how many black belts can we form? How many black belts can we just put it together? And how many white belts can we bring in? And then blue belts work with that and boot them up, That's what is my goal. I don't care when you train, just train. I don't care. That's what I keep telling people, like, why you have to be so short to route one. I don't like that. I feel you have a time schedule. It's just so hard to be able to take your time of the day to jump on the gym. Who cares what is that going to look like? And that's what my professor back in Brazil said to me, because back then I was working full time and with college. And I was bike riding everywhere. So it was like an hour to college and then to come back to go to jiu-jitsu. And it was going to be late at night to ride back. So he told me, like, my daughter would call minha filha in Portuguese, Miha, go and just, if there is a team close by, this is the places, let's see if you can go and train. He said, just be nice, don't get hurt, help clean up the mats and have fun. That's how he built me up, and I'm very grateful for him because he taught me so much. And my team been super supportive for women in the mats, and they also didn't tell me like, hey, what are you doing training elsewhere? It's like, no, they're like, bro, you got some training this week? Awesome. It's like, come over here, I'm gonna spank you a little bit more.
Yeah,
that was what you like, that's what we got. Like, what do you got? What do you got? I was like, yes, 2 seconds jiu-jitsu. And I'm like, I know.
Yeah. And I will say, like, my professors are all men, but like I think they do foster, so I think they foster a very good, safe environment for women, because I think the culture we have in the gym, we all look out for each other, and so
inspires more women to be in the mats. Yes. More people. Like, I have a bunch of guys that come in here and say, I just want to have fun and not get like all fucked up.
Yeah, that's the thing too. I mean, masters athletes, we're like, I just want to like keep training. Like, I have a friend from high school. He's a brown belt. He was out for a year because some guy like destroyed his shoulder. And
even like, oh, tap faster. I was like, yeah, but it's like even tapping, like people sometimes are not thinking. That's, we're talking before, like training the dogs. You just feel like that. You gotta constantly tell people like, this doesn't pay your bills. Even if you are an athlete in the sport, one of the reasons why I stopped competing so much, especially after COVID, is I couldn't afford to get hurt. If I will get hurt, I won't be able to pay my bills and the lawyers to get a patient here. So it's like, why are we even gonna go for that hassle?
Yeah,
I don't want to take faster.
Yeah, and I mean, that was something that was such like a moment right before I got my blue belt. Like, my professor was like, don't rip submissions. And so now, like, if I don't have, like, I go for them very slowly, and I'm like, and if I don't get it, I don't get it.
Yeah. If I don't get it, either it's because the person defended really well. Sometimes the person is adjusting the position with you. And that's how I've been explaining having the gym right now, or my own gym. And people keep saying, oh, why are you not, like, people trying to sell more. And I was like, I'm not trying to expand fast. I'm looking to teach everybody a great environment, because when you go to the gym, you're going to use a dumbbell to perform a movement, a barbell. In the mats, we need each other. So have an environment where you can explain to detail to people how to move well and how to forgive and how to micro adjust every move as you go. Because the dumbbell and the barbell is trying to change on you as you're doing the snatch, as you're doing your overhead. But on the mats, the person is. So how can you teach, especially adults that never had any sport background? Because it's easy to teach somebody that did sports.
Yeah.
But if they never had before, how can you teach and translate that to this person? How can you make them feel comfortable? If they're overweight or they just have injuries that never allowed them to move like that before. So it just, for me, seems common sense.
Yeah, for sure. So I have one final question for you. What advice would you give to someone on their first day just starting out in jiu-jitsu?
That's a good one. I would say have fun. I don't think I had as much fun when I began. I was with a lot of internal pressure. Talk about a chip on the shoulder to show what you got. We did not expect anything out of you when you start. I actually expect that people have fun and just soak it up, take it in, ask questions as much as possible. Like, how do you do that? That thing with your legs, it was a sweep. How do we do that? Ask questions. Like, come in on the mats and say hello to everybody. Make as many friends as possible. Shake people's hand. Don't only go and brown nose the higher belts. Go to the other white belts. Get involved. Have fun. Because this is a lifetime commitment. And not because anybody's like twisting arm about it. You will get addicted. You will have fun. So there's zero pressure. When you get a blue belt, you can't go back to be a white belt anymore. So have fun with the process. Enjoy. There's no time frame. It's not a speed race. It's a marathon. We're having fun for life. So just enjoy.
Enjoy the ride.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Great. So if people wanted to find you, find your school, do you have social media accounts?
Oh, thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Yes, we do have a social media account. So it's Sagaz Jiu Jitsu for Instagram, and we do have a website as well, which is sagazjiujitsu.com. And we are located on the Horror PB 1827 Garnett Ave. Sorry, I had the brain freeze. I was started thinking about my home address. 1827. I was like, oh my god, which one? 1827 on Garnett Ave. We have a parking available on the spot as well, especially at 3 p.m. We don't have to worry about anything. So stop by. Even if you don't train jiu-jitsu, you just want to check it out. We are kind of in the back of the building. There's a side door. For now, we don't have anybody there checking it out, but it's with the CrossFit side, which is Fortis BB. So if you get sketch out looking for 1827 Garnet Ave and there's a CrossFit gym, just keep walking and we will guide you to the what matters on the spot.
And maybe if you're lucky, scout will be.
Oh, if you're lucky, we have a mascot, and very soon we're gonna have a kitty cat mascot too. So stay tuned, and don't worry, it's not gonna be the mask. He's a good boy, he stays on the side. But if you do roll too close from him and your toes are there, he's gonna lick it or bite it. So just stay tight with that. But yeah, he's a cool boy, and I can't wait to see you all here and have some fun.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I hope you have the best time.
I did.
Can't wait to see your crazy following. It's gonna be awesome. I just feel so blessed to be with you here, and I can't wait to see you kicking butt on podcast and on the mats.
Thank you so much for this.
Oh, I love that.